Welcome back to Healthy Mom Club Full Body Strength, day 5. As usual, let's go ahead and get started by checking in on our space. You want at least about 3 feet of space around you. If you have more, that's amazing. Feel free to travel and use any of these moves across the floor. And keep that water bottle nice and close by. Let's start by checking in our posture. Chests are nice and proud. We're hugging baby up and in. And remember with those pelvises, that we are going to tilt them upwards like we're closing a pair of scissors, like we're keeping ourselves from spilling that bowl of water, that bowl of popcorn. Let's go ahead and get started. Breathing in, reaching right on up. And on the exhale, let's just lean over. On the inhale, let's bring ourselves up and exhale over to the other side. Nice big stretch along those lat muscles here. Bring yourselves back down to center. Let's lean it very gently forward, as far as your body will allow. If you need, widen that stance. Feeling that gentle stretch along the back of those hamstrings. And on our next breath, let's go ahead dropping ourselves down to the floor, onto that world's greatest stretch. So we're going to step forward with that right leg, placing those hands to the left of that leg and opening up to the side. You should feel a very gentle stretch along those glutes, those hamstrings, through the quadriceps of your back leg, up through that back, those shoulders, that chest. Bring that hand down. Let's switch sides. Left foot comes forward. Hands go to the right. And let's go ahead opening it up to the right. Pressing forward through those hips. But with these stretches, we don't want to feel any pain, and we don't want to bounce in our stretches. Just gentle lengthening of those muscles. Dropping it down. While we are here on the floor, let's get into those cat-cows, do a little core work. So we're going to bring ourselves to all fours. Knees are about shoulder width apart, same with our hands. And breathing in. Let's bring that belly button to our spine, hugging baby up and in, tucking in that chin. Then we're going to exhale, look up towards the ceiling, drop it down. Once more, belly button to spine, curling that spine. Almost like we're looking like a lowercase n. And then dropping it down, belly button to the floor. And up one more time. And exhale, drop it down. Let's drop those booties to our heels, pressing every single finger, our palm into the floors for some child's pose. Just stretching out that back. All right, on that next inhale, let's bring ourselves up. And very carefully, we'll bring ourselves back up. Just for some dynamic warm-ups here. Standing up, taking your time if you need. Let's do some high knees. So we're going to drive those feet down through the floor, knees up, through those hands, through the ceiling. All right, from here, let's open up those hips. So we're going to go up, out, and down. Almost kind of like we're treading water. Like we're climbing off that bike seat. Hands can go on the hips, or they can go kind of T-Rex like me, wherever you're most comfortable. All right, now let's go the opposite way, opening up those hips. Like we're climbing over a fence, climbing onto that bike seat. Should feel it right in here, right in those hips, right where those legs meet our torsos. All right, let's slow it down. Go ahead, shake it out, grab that water. We'll get right into circuit 1. All right, let's go ahead, get right on into it. Our first set is going to be our squat movement. You can grab those weights or do this with your body weight, whatever is most comfortable. Let's turn those feet out, track those knees above the center of our feet for a nice deep sumo squat. So feet nice and wide, feet facing away from each other. Let's drop it down, sumo squat. And this can be done hands down here, hands up at your shoulders, or completely body weight. Whatever is most comfortable for you. Just making sure that those knees are going in the same direction as those feet. And just like you're sitting down in a chair, keeping that chest nice and proud. We've got 20 more seconds of this, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do some sumo deadlifts. So our feet will stay pointing in the right direction. Then we're going to hinge it forward for that hinge motion, those deadlifts. All right, we're going to deadlift in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get those weights if you don't have them. Feet facing away. Screw those legs into the floor. Chest stays proud. Let's close those scissors. Tracking it all the way down. Pushing through those heels, hinging forward. Bring it right on up. Sumo deadlift. Really squeezing those booties. Thinking of this motion coming from a hinge, not so much kind of a modified squat. We're pushing those hips forward and through as we come up. Don't be afraid to let that double chin kind of come out. Tucking that chin. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's give that lower body a break. Shake it out. We're going to lateral raise. So let's bend those elbows right to our sides, right angle. And we're going to bring them up to our sides, almost like one of those wine openers. Hands are going to come to just about shoulder weight, just about shoulder height. And remember, we're remembering to breathe. And anytime we are moving, we're engaging that core. So baby is being hugged up and in. Your belly button is coming up in towards our spine. And there's a soft bend in those knees. All right, 15 more seconds. Almost there. Then we're going to grab those bands for some band pull-aparts. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop those weights down, grab those bands. And just like last time, let's hold that band a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Close those fists around it. Pull it down and across right to where your buttons would be on a polo shirt. And we're pinching those shoulder blades together and keeping those shoulders out of our ears. So remember to relax them down. And then like we're holding $1 million check in between those shoulder blades. And watch my hips. See how I'm not curving my spine forward? If my pelvis was a bowl of water, nothing is spilling out the front. Staying nice and upright. And I'm bracing my belly button up and in towards those diaphragm. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead, start it back up from set number 1, grabbing that water if we need. Set number 1, I'm going to do it without weight this time. You're welcome to grab those weights if you'd like. Twisting those feet out, nice wide power stance, dropping it down. And it's so great to do these squats, these deadlifts, because the stronger our glutes are, it can help with sciatic pain, femoral nerve pain. And strengthening that posterior chain is so important because so much of pregnancy and parenthood happens out here. So we want to balance it out, strengthening the opposite side of our bodies as well. And remember to check in on that talk test. Are we at an intensity where you're able to talk? You might not be able to sing. I just want to make sure you can talk. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Grab those weights if you haven't been using them. And let's sumo deadlift. So really wide stance. Feet are facing away. Fold it down. Hinge through. Tracking those weights right in front of those shins. Try and make as straight of a line up and down as you can. Tucking those chins. Show me those double chins when you're tucking that spine in at the top. Ten more seconds of these, guys. We're almost there. And 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, bring that stance in, shake out those legs. Lateral raise. And those shoulder blades are back and down. Chests are nice and proud, and we're hugging baby up and in. Bring them up. I like to imagine that my pinkies are leading this motion. They never want to get much higher than shoulder height. All right, we've got 10 more. Chests are proud, shoulders are back and down. Shoulders are out of our ears. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop those dumbbells. Grabbing that band. Slightly wider than shoulder width apart. And let's pull it down across that chest. Band pull aparts. And I know this movement looks easy. These are one of my favorite upper body exercises. So you can really focus on what's happening in those lat muscles. If it gets too easy, pull that grip in a little bit closer. If it's a little tricky, widen it up. Whatever you are most comfortable with. And 10 more seconds, we'll grab some water, and then we're halfway there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, moms, go grab that water, have a quick break, then we're on to circuit number 2. All right, and welcome back to set B. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. We're going to be doing some goblet squats. So I'll show you how to do it with 1 dumbbell and then 2. We're going to place it right in between those palms, close them on top like I don't know what goblet is shaped like this, but that's what they call them. We're going to drop those booties down and press up, keeping that weight just about chest height, holding it kind of right in between those palms. And if you're doing 2 weights, just for safety's sake, I like to kind of hold them with my pinkies and my thumbs and drop it down. This can also just be done body weight, no problem at all. Just make sure those knees are tracking in the same direction as those feet. And we're sitting down like our booties are sitting into a chair. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down, drop those weights. The rest of this will be done using these bands, so we'll hold on to these. We're going to go ahead and place them right under our feet for a banded single leg deadlift. So right under that right foot. Make a little kickstand with that left, folding backwards and pressing those hips forward and through. Remembering to tuck that chin, give yourself a double chin as we come up. And this is a hinging motion, so think of our hips as the hinges on a door, and they're the ones kind of driving forward and generating this movement. All right, and let's go ahead, switch sides. Placing that band under the left. Make yourself a little kickstand with the right. Drive all 4 feet of your foot through the floor. Pressing those hips forward and through. Really reminding yourself, what is my pelvis doing? What is my spine doing? What is my core doing? We're always bracing those belly buttons up and in, hugging maybe up and inwards. All right, in 10 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go ahead, keeping that band underneath at least one foot. You could do both if you like. We're going to do some upright rows. So checking in on that posture. We're not spilling that water from our pelvis. Shoulder blades are back and down. We're going to do some upright rows. So bringing them up, elbows up, all the way down. This is another motion where I like to think that my pinky is leading the movement. It allows me to feel it more along those lat muscles, less in those traps. Because our traps can be very greedy. They like to take over in a lot of things. Bringing it up. Almost kind of like we're doing like a polka dance. All the way up and then down. Got 18 more seconds of these. Then our final movement before we do it all again is a chest press. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go ahead, tucking that band in behind us like it's the straps of a backpack. And I actually misspoke. We're going to be doing a chest fly. So same setup, holding that tubing, that band wherever is most comfortable. But instead, we're going to hug those hands forward, squeezing at the seam of our chest here for a chest fly. Just kind of like we're giving someone a hug or one of those cymbal monkeys. Generating that movement from right in that pectoral muscle. Squeezing them forward. Knuckles together. Daps yourself really quick. All right, we've got 30 more seconds of these. Then we're back to the top. Back to those goblet squats. Halfway there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead, dropping down that band. Keeping it nice and close, having that lightning sip of water if we need. Holding those dumbbells, however is most comfortable for you, whether we're doing 1 or 2. Track those feet slightly upwards. Hugging baby up and in. Drop that booty down like we're sitting on a chair. Really working on those glutes. Strengthening them. They're the biggest muscle group in our body. But our quads are so greedy. So it's good to really focus in on the posterior, the back side of our legs. Halfway there, almost there. Holding those dumbbells with your thumb and your pinky. And those feet are out of the way. Nice wide stance. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's grab those bands. Keeping that intensity up, but checking in on yourself. Checking on that talk test. Practice yelling at your kids. Make sure that we're able to speak. I want you to grip that tubing. Screw those feet into the floor. Screw those hands towards each other. And we're going to press those hips through. Nice, great big hinge. Forward and through. That right foot is just a little kickstand. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch legs. Other foot goes on top of that band, nice and secure. We don't want anything flying around. Opposite foot is our little kickstand. Let's hinge forward and straighten it up. Closing the door, pushing those hips forward and through. And this one, I really want to make sure you're feeling through that hamstring, right through those booties. We want to make sure that our backs aren't taking over. It's another kind of greedy muscle group that likes to take over. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keeping it under that foot or whatever one's most comfortable. Grabbing those handles, that tubing. Let's upright row. Bring it right on up. Kind of like we're doing the opposite of like a Looney Tunes Acme dynamite detonation. Bring them all the way up. You might hear my shoulder click a little. The mic's right close to my clicky, noisy shoulder today. All right, 20 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last set. Taking that band out from under that foot, tucking it in under those armpits like a properly adjusted backpack. I don't know who properly adjusts those straps. Maybe that's a sign I'm an adult that I do that now. And we're going to hug those knuckles together. Bring it out nice and wide. And as always, we're checking in. What are we doing with our posture? Shoulder blades are back and down. Hugging baby up and in. And we're not arching that lower back. We are tucking it in, closing those scissors. Hugging those hands forward. All right, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, we have done it. That is our working set. Go grab that water. Come meet me back here on the floor for a little floor work and core work, and we'll cool things down. All right, we are almost there. Let's go ahead and work those cores, cool ourselves down a little bit. Coming right back up onto all fours. Feet and knees and hands are shoulder width apart. Let's do some cat-cows, practice engaging those transverse abdominals. Bring that belly button up to the spine. Turning ourselves into like a hissing Halloween cat. And then dropping it down, letting it all go. Don't worry too much about creating that arch. Just relax everything. And then bring it right back up, belly button to spine, hugging baby up and in. And let it go. One more time. Let's hug baby up and in. Bringing those belly buttons to the spines and those spines to the ceiling. And let's drop it down. Returning that spine to neutral spine. So we're closing those scissors. Let's go ahead and do some bird dogs. So we're going to reach out one hand and one foot in opposition. And then bring them back to center. And then we'll switch. So reaching out, kind of Supermaning. Back in, drop it down, switching sides. out, in, and try and make sure those hips are staying nice and square to the floor. That's our challenge. We're not opening up in either direction. And out and in, dropping it down and switch. We'll do 5 more just on each side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's drop it down and switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping it down, switching. Now we're going to isolate just those legs, work those glutes a little bit more. We're going to do some fire hydrants. So those guys are exactly what they sound like, kind of like a dog at a fire hydrant. We're going to open up at the hip, then bring it back down nice and controlled. You should feel it right in these glute medius, right in here. Again, let's try and keep those hips nice and square. And hugging baby up and in. 10 more on this side, then we'll switch sides. 2, 1, switching sides. Feet, knees, hands shoulder width apart. Opening up at those hips. Nice and controlled. We're not relying on momentum at any point here. We are in charge of this movement through every single inch of the movement. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's drop it down. Drop those booties to those heels. Let's stretch it out in child's pose. Pressing all of those fingers, your palms into the floor, dropping those shoulders away from the ear. And now let's go ahead, take that right foot, bring it forward. And we're going to place that shin as perpendicular to our body as we can, leaning forward as far as your body will allow for a pigeon pose. Stretching out those glute medius, those hips. And we'll go ahead and switch sides. Placing that shin perpendicular to your body in front of you. Leaning forward, pressing forward on those hips. And when you are ready, let's go ahead, bring ourselves to center. Stretching out those hamstrings, let's place one foot out in front of us. Reaching forward, see if you can touch those toes. Again, with these stretches, I never want you to be bouncing into a stretch or to go to a point at which you feel pain. During pregnancy, we've got a lot of extra relaxin in our bodies flowing around. So you may find you get a little bit bendier, but I don't want you to force anything or go to a point that causes you pain. Switching sides, let's go ahead, other foot. Reaching forward, feeling that gentle lengthening along the back of our legs. All right, bringing those feet in front of us. Very gently, I want you to fold one foot inwards like we're sitting crisscross applesauce. Place the other foot in front, and we're going to look over it. Stretching out those lats. Very gentle thoracic spine twist. Bring yourselves to center. Let's switch sides. Tucking the other foot underneath like we're going to sit crisscross. Other foot is bent in front. Twisting over. And bringing yourselves back to center. I want you to take those hands, lace them behind your back, and just open up that chest. You can pull your hands away from your back if you need the boost. Then taking those hands, let's reach across our bodies, hugging the right arm across our body, stretching out that posterior deltoid, the back of our shoulders. And switching sides. One last stretch. Let's go ahead, take our left ear, bring it to our left shoulder like we're holding a phone. In the era of Bluetooth and AirPods, I wonder how long that reference will kind of last. Bring yourselves back to center, right ear to right shoulder. Bring yourselves to center. And one last time with me, moms. Let's go ahead, reaching right on up. Placing those fingers together. Exhale, drop it down. One more time. Last time with me. Go ahead, reaching right on up. And exhale, drop it down. You've done it. Amazing job. Go grab that water. If you'd like to take the course again, feel free to start it from day one or check out Healthy Mom Club's other offerings.